As you decide to begin your journey with a new startup company, the future always looks bright. At this point, it can be difficult to imagine that there may be big problems at some point down the line. To prepare for a future where things may not always be perfect, a shareholders agreement should be signed by each shareholder involved. Drafting such an agreement can help you foresee some of the problems that might endanger the success of your startup. It will not necessarily prevent the problems, but it may at least lay down the solution even before they arise. Ultimately, the shareholders agreement is a set of predetermined rules for everyone involved. It helps define the relationships between the shareholders and their rights and obligations. There are a number of ways that you can determine what to include. One approach is to consider what can possibly go wrong so as to best protect yourself and other shareholders in such situations. Ask yourself questions such as, for example, what if the shareholders disagree on something important? What if a shareholder with a position in the company resigns or is dismissed? What if a new party wants to join the company? Or if one of the shareholders wants to sell his or her shares? How to protect minority shareholders in case of capital increase or sale of the company. Without a shareholders agreement, any of these situations would create legal uncertainty that would affect all of the shareholders and the company itself. Here are some examples of clauses you may put into your shareholders agreement and how you can divide these into 5 main categories. The first category is the general clauses. This is standard in any legal document and includes clauses about who is involved, their positions, and any law or jurisdiction that applies. The second category is the organization clauses. These outline the legal structure of the company. For example, is it a partnership or a limited liability company? What will each shareholder contribute in terms of time and money? What are the roles and responsibility of those involved? And so on. The third category is the shareholders' obligations and rights clauses. These lay out the decision-making process, voting rights, distribution of profits to shareholders, how shareholders are committed in case the company becomes insolvent or needs additional capital, access to information, and so on, now and in the future. The fourth category is the protection clauses. These include deadlock procedures, non-disclosure obligations, and non-competition clauses. The fifth and last category in this example is the exit clauses. These outline how shareholders can leave the company and how a buyout would work, especially if a shareholder becomes obstructive or breaches the contract. This includes how remaining shareholders may have first right of refusal to buy shares from a selling shareholder before these are offered to outside parties. Exit clauses also describe how shareholders deal with termination of the company. As a voluntary commitment, all shareholders in the startup will need to understand the details of the agreement so there are no misunderstandings later on. It is important that it is written out in a way that makes it valid and enforceable. There are many different templates available on the internet that can be downloaded for free. But to make sure your shareholders agreement fits your unique situation, getting expert legal advice is often essential.